3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, it drew, shoot and make Gavin, 2 thumbs that's up.
Add with the latest update.
Swing analysis, our own embedded swing analysis tool, and then we built an entirely new onboarding workflow for subscriptions and collecting payment and all that stuff.
Love it. That's cool, man. It's a pretty sophisticated app. I was telling Bryce a little bit about it here before we jumped
you would
on.
not want to see my swing in that app. It's not good.
It's functional though. Something works with it, man.
It works.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
all
ugly.
that matters.
Hey,
That's
it's
all right.
think of Jim Furyk, man.
Yeah.
You know Jim Furyk's like the fifth highest earner on PGA Tour.
Yeah, I did. I saw a TikTok today about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. That's pretty
It's like
wild.
Tiger, Phil,
DJ,
someone
Oh,
else,
yeah.
and then Furyk.
Yeah, why can't
Forget who the
I would have
fourth-
thought it was like Spieth or something, but I don't think it was.
No.
Yeah, that's a good bar trivia question because like that's not who you would think.
No, not at all.
Why can't I think of number
Who's
4?
the fourth one? Here, I'll find it right here.
Oh, that's so like, I don't know why I can't think of it right now. I would have thought it was Spieth or like maybe VJ or something because VJ had that massive year,
Yeah.
but it was not. It was not. But yeah, we're rolling right now. If that's okay with you, Jason, we just hop right into it, man.
That sounds great. I like it.
So maybe we can let's get this pronunciation because I know we went over it last time. Istruzi.
Nailed it.
Did I? All right, I like it. Okay, Istruzi, Bryce. Istruzi.
Struzy.
You got it? Can we hear it one time?
Is Struzy. It's kind of a tongue twister. A
Yeah,
little bit.
that's solid. Is it like? Are you trying to say it with a couple S's attached to it? Istruzi. Istruzi. I like it.
That's the fun of it.
See,
all,
I
right?
know,
mean,
like, I know where
the
it
first
came from, yeah.
thing most people think of, they think of like the movie, Miscusi.
Yeah, Miscusi. Yeah.
Not Another Teen Movie, I think is what it was, or like something like that. But yeah, the story behind it's actually pretty solid. So like the attorney that I've used a couple times, his advice to me this time starting up at Struzy was like, dude, you got to be really careful about how you pick your business names and your logos,
Right.
because anything in the United States of America, you can probably include Canada, but you guys just do it a little bit differently about how like
We pronounce it a
intellectual
little.
property and
We
copyright
pronounce it a
stuff.
little funnier too up here. Yeah.
That's to each their own. And he's like, look, dude, anything that's close to any like other recognized brand name in the United States, like there are patent and like troll sleuths that will come after you. And like basically what their modus operandi is, they're just going to scare you into like changing your name because like you can't go to court because you don't have the money, and like you lose your brand name before you even start. So I was like, okay, that's really solid advice, but like I don't know where to begin. So like thanks, but like kind of no thanks in a way. Like so I was in the Google Translator app just like messing around with a whole bunch of different languages. And like my original idea was like, oh, it'd be really cool if I come up with something that's like Gaelic or Scottish or something like that, like go back to the roots of golf. And I quickly remembered that it's extremely hard to pronounce anything in Gaelic or Scottish or anything over there. So had to adjust. And like my family's from Italian descent, my fiance's family's from Italian descent. Like we were planning for a trip to go to Italy, so like that was the next language I chose. And Istruzione is the long form Italian word for instruction. So Istruzi is the shorthand for instruction in Italian.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love how you mentioned intellectual property because that's what my wife does for a living. So I know all about those battles, and I don't think I'm technically allowed to say who they like work for, but they have a massive company that she deals with people copywriting and using the logo or something similar to the logo or the font. Like it's just there's so many different things that you can get nailed for, especially with those bigger companies because they own all the patents and all the trademarks and all that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff you wouldn't even think of.
If somebody with some deep pockets comes after On the Screws podcast, we're in trouble. We're just gonna roll over.
Yeah.
give a shit.
Take it all.
Take it. We're done with it. It's no, but we're 130 episodes deep now.
132?
130. This one's going out
130. Okay.
this Friday. I think it's 130. So pardon
I think you're
us. I don't know. Bryce usually keeps track of this, so listen to what he said.
I usually do. I missed
Yeah.
a couple because of work recently, and I'm just kind of off a little. I'll get back.
130-ish here with Jason you're the founder of Istruzi, correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's kind of like we were saying, just as we hopped on, you had a couple developments that you guys like released today. Can we talk about where the app is? It's mainly an app based, right? Like I'm sure you can access it from like a web browser as well.
So it's iOS only.
iOS only. Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
So can we talk about like maybe the last couple iterations, kind of what's brought it to this point where you are now today, Jason?
Absolutely. I think like it's kind of fun to tell the story of like where we like really first started.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think that like that's like the nitty gritty stuff that like people don't hear enough about, but it's important because it gives context to like the journey and like what really amounts to a lot of struggle for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But,
So
like,
if I can add,
purposeful.
as you're kind of listening to this part of the pod, go to Istruzi. Like the Instagram is linked in the show notes below. If you go through the past stories that you've posted, you can see kind of where the app started. And that was pretty cool because I was doing that a little while ago. And you can kind of like, this is a very well designed app. If you haven't checked it out already, I would encourage you to go do so, especially if you think that you could use it. But it's kind of cool where you see where it was like before it, I guess was kind of, at this point now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of comical how bad it was and how bad it looked when it first started. But like that was okay. Like that was the intention. A buddy of mine that I've grown up with, his name's Nick, and he's the product manager. He's an advisor for Istruzi. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, dude, like you probably have a good idea here, but like you haven't necessarily validated this. And I said, all right, well, like, what do you mean validation? Like, I'm a golfer. I just took some golf lessons. I think I got it. He's like, respectfully, like, that's not how this works. So like his suggestion was like, spend a very small amount of money, the grand scheme of things, like spend like a couple $1,000 and like build a no code app. And like what's in the Instagram reels, the Mac that you're referring to, is a no code app where we hired a developer who like dragged and dropped a bunch of things on a website. And we put this in front of a handful of coaches that we had relationships with because we've been doing research with these coaches for many months before this. And we said, like, how does this feel? Like, how does this interact with you? How does it work for your daily operations? Would this be valuable? Like, what do you want to see? And like, it became a really easy way to get like tangible feedback because we put something in their hands. Like we didn't just ask them questions. And we learned a lot, which was the purpose. Like it was a really cheap way to learn a lot of really good information. And then from there, we just kept getting a little bit more refined in like what we built and what we put in front of coaches. So like what's available today in the App Store is a culmination of about 16 months worth of pure research where we didn't build anything, and then became about 12 months worth of development. And that's now what's available in the iOS App Store. And we've been in the App Store for about 5-6 months. The first portion of what we put in the App Store was scheduling, was player organization, was payment processing, was like all this real-time booking management. And what we're releasing today, we're in like about the third iteration of Apple asking their questions back to us to get it approved, is our own swing analysis swing tool embedded to the platform. And then we have our subscription system set up. So there's 3 tiers of subscription. So it's been a long journey and it's been fun. Like it doesn't feel like work. It's been really it's been a great learning opportunity for me, but I've also just learned so much from these coaches because like we just go in and listen. And we're just trying to pull out what we hear constantly over and over again, because that tends to be a good way to understand how to add value.
Oh, pick me up here, cool. Bryce. I'm having a sneezing fit here.
Yeah, you're good. Just for the people listening who don't know exactly what the app is or haven't checked it out yet, do you want to just go over kind of what the app is and kind of the general purpose of it?
Yeah, that's perfect. So really, golf are getting a lesson, coaches are on an island. Um, Coaches are usually categorized in like two simple areas. They have their own business and they're running an LLC, or they're an employee of another company that pays them a salary, and then maybe they get some other kind of commission stuff on top of that. At the end of the day, the people who run and the coaches who run their LLCs are solopreneurs. Like, they're expected to do everything, build a brand, build services, build a website, deliver your services, and in their line of work, it's an hourly based type gig. So every hour you work, you're making money. Ever you don't, you're not in some scenarios. So it became clear to me after I got a lesson that I use the joke is like we're so used to being able to like transfer money, buy pizza online, trade stocks in Japan, but there was a breakdown in like getting a lesson and interacting with a coach and like consuming his content after and during and between lessons. So ultimately, Istruzi is a business management platform to modernize coaches in like 5 minutes of all the stuff that like they know they should do, and we've automated like all these other processes for them that they use the platform, and we're doing it for them because of the way the platform has been built. And this ends up leading to better player outcomes because the players can go to one app, they can interact with all the content in one place, they can upload videos that their coach can take right out of the platform, put it in the editor, get a swing analysis, feedback on it, and consume that all within the app. They can talk to their coaches in the app. They can leave notes on past sessions and future sessions. They can pay for stuff. It all happens in one place because we heard tons of times that coaches are using 4 to 5 different apps and they don't remember where it was, or like we constantly heard players and coaches talking about like the endless scroll in a text message, or like we've all experienced how Gmail, which is a search engine, but you can't find anything in your inbox, which is such a like a wild like thing to think about. So it's like there was all this stuff that was in broken, disparate places that we realized that there was an opportunity to put something all in one spot to make it really easy for the coaches and players.
Mac here for Manscaped. Spring has sprung, and the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the best tools for cleaning aisle 5 in your pants. The start of spring also marks the start of Testicular Cancer Awareness Month in April. Manscaped has partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health, and early cancer detection. Manscaped is committed to raising awareness for the most common form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35 and giving support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer as part of their We Save Balls initiative. Head over to manscaped.com. You'll get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code OTS Golf. Manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code OTS Golf. So just to be clear, Jason, this isn't just virtual. Like my coach and I, like if Bryce is my coach, I can go to him, he can record, we can go our separate ways. He can do all the editing and whatnot, and then send me like a finalized video of any of my swing tips or, you know, things that I need to work on, any changes that I need to make. We can do that live as well through the app, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we in person, face-to-face lessons. We have also coaches who have created virtual lessons.
Right.
That's really
so
cool.
It can go both ways.
The virtual stuff's cool because especially with guys maybe don't have access to good coaches around their area. I mean, it's just as easy as going on FaceTime or whatever you need to do to kind of get that virtual lesson, right?
Yeah. I mean, COVID really showed that COVID forced virtual lessons,
right,
and a need for it. I think we're starting to realize that there is still interest in virtual lessons.
Yeah, for sure.
Not nearly as much, obviously, but there's still interest for sure.
So can we take it back, Jason, if you don't mind, to when you kind of get involved in saying, okay, you want to like take this, you want to build an app that's going to be user friendly for everybody. It's going to be a professional looking app. It's on the iOS platform, like you mentioned. How does that process work for you? Do you have anybody that you were already connected with that you kind of spoke to them, so that's what steered the ship in that direction, or did you have to seek out somebody? Can you explain that kind of process too?
Yeah, so I think, Mac, I can probably answer that in 2 ways. So like I found coaches to ask questions and like have research calls on Instagram. And then the coaches I built relationships with to like learn more about their pains, I'd ask each of them, hey, can you refer me to 3 of your other buddies that are coaches? And like that became a really easy flywheel to just consistently get introduced to more and more coaches to learn what truly was necessary to build. And once we knew that, I had to find a developer. So like in my day job, I'm in sales, and like I help build solutions for app modernization, cloud-based tools and products. Like I understand the process pretty well, but I had to go find a developer, and so I researched like 3 or 4 different development firms and ended up choosing the one that I work with in DC, 3 Advance, and they've been a phenomenal partner. They see what we do as genuinely building a business, not just putting code into an iOS platform and like shipping it. It's very collaborative, and it's been very strategic. So that's been a lot of like them asking me like, what do we want to build? What's in scope? And we had to prioritize like what do we want to focus on first, because genuinely we had to make the decision, like, are we going to start with the video analysis tool, or do we want to start with scheduling? That was the first real big decision we had to make, and like we chose to stay with the scheduling tool because at the end of the day, that was a differentiator. That there are things out there, but they weren't as simple and easy, and as it allowed us to give us an opportunity to create a little bit of a moat. And now that we've added swing analysis to it, the moat's even larger and even kind of more protected.
And so any coach, like if I'm a coach and I download the app and I can link it directly to my Google Calendar, correct?
Absolutely.
So just like I can put together whatever my email is, I can link it to my Google Calendar, I can kind of set it up, and then it'll just give me prompts when I have a lesson or something, whatever my daily schedule is, it'll kind of show up through the app that way, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, the real-time booking is built through Google Calendar, and when a session is booked in the platform, it gets put on the coach's Istruzi calendar in Google, and then the platform can read between Google and the platform itself to know like when the coach has a booking or when they're free. And the other way that we kind of help like condense down the availability is every coach sets their hours, well, really sets the amount of days per week that they want to accept sessions. And then per day, they say, okay, I'm willing to accept the session at this first time of the day. And then the last time of the day is when they want to essentially start packing up and going home. So per day, they can even choose multiple blocks inside the day. They can carve out like on a Thursday between 2 and 5 that they don't want anyone to book. So we've given them a lot of customization and control, because that was another thing we heard a lot from coaches was like, I like the way I'm doing it today because I can control when people book, I can control my calendar, I can control like what people see. So this was our way of answering that and saying like, you have ultimate control. We're giving you the creativity to call out how you want your availability to show up.
Right. So the main things right now, Jason, that we have are the scheduling. Like the scheduling is huge, obviously. Like the app was that was like the main thing that you said was sort of built on, is the ability for the coach to control their schedule. They have the video, the editing software, so you can load up like a video. Is there any like length, any duration with that, or can you go through like a whole lesson based right on the app?
Yeah, so the best answer I can give you right now is that we've tested it to be multiple minutes. I'm sure there will be plenty of coaches that will test the length of time there.
Yeah, whoever's coaching
so
Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew he was slow, but the Masters was an entirely different experience.
That was wild, man. That's wild.
I saw TikTok today of sorry to get off topic here, but some guy put Patrick Cantlay's pre-shot routine from like the start to him hitting the ball, and then on the other half was the scene of Happy Gilmore
Yeah,
putting
I
the
saw
ball
that.
5 times, and it was the same amount of time. But if so, Jason, just a question here. If I was a new player downloading the app and I went in, could I link up with brand new coaches right through the app and get started, or kind of how does that process work?
Yeah, I mean, Bryce, that's a great question. So the simple answer is we've made a very, very purposeful decision that Istruzi is not a marketplace.
Okay.
Istruzi is not a marketplace for players to find coaches. This came out of a bunch of research, came out of a bunch of conversations with coaches where we came to learn that the marketplaces that are available to find coaches today have had varying amounts of success, but at the end of the day, it mostly boils down to the marketplaces don't protect the coach's business themselves. The simple way to answer this is marketplaces are a massive benefit to the businesses who run them, but ultimately are decreasing in value with every new coach that gets added to a marketplace for the coaches themselves. And this is a really easy thing to notice when you see a coach and you see their in-person lesson price, and then you see their virtual lesson price. There are drastic differences.
Mac here for BioSteel. We absolutely love this one on the pod. The hydration mix has been in our golf bags forever. The hydration mix has been designed in the most natural way possible to help you stay hydrated throughout your round of golf. Zero sugar formula is made from clean, quality ingredients and contains no artificial flavors and colors, added vitamins and minerals to help support overall good health, normal function of your golf swing, and your immune system. Simply mix it into some water, and you can enjoy it through all 18 holes. Clean, healthy hydration. Zero sugar, natural health product, no artificial flavors or colors, no artificial sweeteners, no preservatives, caffeine-free, NSF certified for sport. Biosteel.ca, biosteel.com. Use the promo code SCREWS30 for 30% off your order. SCREWS30 for 30% off your order. Stay hydrated, my friends. So do you find that that's when you get on a marketplace, when coaches are posting their pricing, they're just driving the market down essentially by looking at what other coaches are posting, and then it's constantly forcing their bottom line down,
Exactly.
right? So that'll
Yep.
obviously affect the quality that you're going to get from that coach as well, and the amount of time that they're going to be able to invest in your lesson too, right?
Exactly. Right. And Mac, you put it really well. So like that's one driving force. The other driving force on our marketplace is the players. And the way I put it, and like this is how the vast majority of players think about this. If you're looking for something online, especially a golf lesson, it's extremely difficult to know how to validate a coach simply based off of a profile online.
For
Right.
sure.
Even if you're getting an in-person lesson, like their website is a fraction of how good or like not good they are for your game and how you learn. So when you're going to a marketplace as a player, when you don't have a lot of information to make a decision, the easiest and the simplest, like brain dead decision you can always fall back on is price. And if players only know how to make a decision because that's the only way that they like genuinely that's the only option available to them, they're going to make a decision based off of price probably 8 to 9 out of 10 times. So what also happens there is players are sending probably 5 or 6 different messages to a coach at one given time. They're waiting for responses. They're seeing how some of this goes. They're stringing the coaches along, and then they probably end up choosing somebody on the lower end of the spectrum most of the time. So how is that good for a coach's business?
Yeah. Now, do you have a way to like kind of protect the coaches and the players, I guess? Like, are you trying to, I guess, monitor if...
Just a way to contradict it, really.
Yeah. Are you monitoring anything that's happening within the app, though? If you see like...
There's only so much you can do, though, correct?
So, yeah, I love where this is going. Our answer to this is that in Istruzi, a player can only have one coach relationship.
Okay.
So we are very forcefully preventing window shopping from the player's side of this relationship.
Okay. So I have a question, and this could be maybe a future idea for you guys, or maybe you already have this concept. If you don't, I would like commission when you do it. You're not. Are you going to target NCAA schools? Because I mean, this would be huge for coaches to monitor all their play, or maybe give them special access to be able to monitor like 8 players on their team. Because I mean, that would be an amazing tool to be able to have the college coach with 5 or 6 of their players all in one app. Everyone can see kind of what's going on with each individual player.
Yeah, Bryce, I love where your head's at. It's a really, really cool idea. And like I've talked to a couple collegiate coaches, and I didn't know this until I talked to a handful of them. Collegiate coaches, the way it was described to me is think of collegiate coaches as a single leader to manage and grow a group of players, more so as a team and less about the technical individual. And the reason for that is because most players, to get to collegiate, I mean, unless I guess you're Bubba Watson, like if you got that far, you've got at least probably 2 or 3 coaches that like are your trusted group. So like the technical aspect of the game is being addressed by a different coach if you've got to the collegiate ranks, and your college coach is there to help like build a team and like win team related events and like create good community, create good culture. That's not to say that like they don't know the game of golf. That would be that's
but they're more on the coaching side than the instructional side, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that.
Yeah, like we've been lucky enough to have one of the top coaches in the country on in the States on Andy Walker at VCU, and now that we think back at the episodes, we've had one a couple times with him. There is like going to be some. There's going to be some instruction base, but a lot of it was like a lot of his level of coaching was like on their mental game, I think. And you know, he's a national champion. He's played on the PGA Tour, so it was just kind of like, you know, taking him all the players through the mental process, connecting them with the right people. And he didn't really mention much. So when we had them back,
I think a good way to sorry to cut you off. I think a good way to put it is they more push the kids instead of teach them. If that makes sense in my head. I don't know if that came out to make sense, but the coaches essentially don't really teach the kids because they're already really good golfers. They more just push them in the right direction. Kind of
thing. For sure. Can we, Jason? Can we talk cost? So is this a platform that just the coaches are paying or players are paying as well? Can we kind of run through that for anybody interested in it?
Of course, yeah. So it's the coaches that pay. The coaches are our customers, or the coaches are the ones that we're constantly thinking about how do we make this more valuable to them.
Right.
You want to go through the different subscription prices and stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Coaches.
So
you said there are 3 subscriptions?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So there's 3 tiers, and there are. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of how I want to break this down. So we can start with monthly. Mm-hmm. So monthly is your usual pay per month. That price is right now $68.99. Mm-hmm. And then there's 2 tiers above that. So we have our quarterly and our annual. And the 2 things that are important about these 2 other options are we have built partnerships with 2 other businesses, 2 other brands in the golf arena. So one is Bion. Bion makes extremely comfortable, extremely stylish.
I have a pair over here.
Oh, so you already know Bion.
Oh yeah, I love them.
They're great, and they're Canadian. They're a great business up north.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So we've partnered with them to help our coaches get in their ambassador program, because typically to get into an ambassador program, Bion specifically, you have to go through a little bit of an interview process. You got to kind of validate like you're following all that good stuff. We've agreed that any coach that uses Istruzi gets in that Bion ambassador program. That coach can use their referral code. That coach gets commission for any of the shoes that are sold on that referral code, which helps add a little bit of extra income passively. Then the second partnership in the quarterly and annual subscription plans is we've partnered with Wave Media Co. And there's going to be a golf coach specific social media masterclass where we're going to bring coaches through the fundamentals, the core principles of delivering organic content on Instagram to help coaches turn their followers and first find more followers, create more followers, and then turn those followers into more bookings. So the whole goal of these partnerships is that they're titled like passive income partnerships.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we're really diving into helping these coaches build businesses that last, build businesses that don't drive them into the ground, and build businesses that are genuinely unique because this brings out their own personalities and their own approaches to how they want to do it. And so those two, the quarterly and the yearly, right now they're both at a 35% sale. So the yearly has got an annual price of $539.99, and then the quarterly is $134.99.
And then no matter which way you go with those, that's full access to the app, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. We're
Nice.
not metering anything.
Cool.
So they're also too, like, the coaches, if I understand it correctly, have just like a direct link to their profile. So when they're posting on social media, like you were just talking about, pretty much everything seems like it goes through social media, like the pod, everything like that. So you'd have a direct link. You can post it in your stories, whatever it is, like on your Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is, going to drive you directly to your portfolio as the coach.
Exactly. Yep. So the link you're talking about, Mac, is what we call the coach link. So this coach link is the power of automating revenue capture. We've all seen golf coach websites that have probably been designed 10, 15 years ago, and maybe they get touched up every 5 years or so. What I've told coaches is, like, you can keep that website, leave it. That's great. All you got to do is just add your coach link, and that website that became basically a static billboard, a virtual billboard, now becomes this like revenue capture machine that, like, as people visit, there's a tangible, low friction way to capture bookings, which is revenue, and to fill up your calendar. You can put, like you said, Mac, you can put that in an Instagram story, reel, carousel. Coaches are putting it in their Instagram profiles. I've got a coach that got super creative and decided to make a QR code out of it, and he still plays some Pro-Am stuff, and he got a tour bag and put the QR code on the tour bag.
That's
so he's
sweet.
walking around in Pro-Ams, and he's got people, like, taking pictures of his bag. He's like, I've already paid for the bag, and I've only played 2 tournaments.
That's
been
perfect.
Great.
Yeah, that's great.
Sweet.
So
That's a really good idea.
Creativity is endless. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
I like that. I always like seeing, people develop like new ideas and whatnot through things. But to wrap up a couple points earlier in the pod, I have no idea how we did not know it was Rory McIlroy was number 4. Like,
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Just
that's
so
I was
obvious
gonna
in
say it,
hindsight.
but for some reason I didn't think it was him. I don't know why, but for some reason I didn't think it was him. But
and Patrick Cantlay's coach is Jamie Mulligan, so ban this man from the app. But what a name though! What a name for a golf coach, Jamie Mulligan.
Really, Jamie Mulligan.
Yeah,
that's great.
And imagine Patrick Cantlay needing to take a mulligan at any point. But yeah, so probably the best name. Like, he's a top 100 coach. I'm sure he's incredibly good. Patrick Cantley's good. We're just being a little hard on him because he's a slow player. But man, what a great name for a golfer. That's got to be one of the best.
Solid name.
One of the best. So
Matt, can I make a request?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's spend a couple minutes finishing talking about the NHL playoffs because they're about to start, right? Let's end on that.
That's why I keep looking this way. I got the Bruins game on, so
I love it. Can we just wrap up a couple more
goal
points?
hockey at the end. We like to segment. We always get a lot of hockey.
We usually start it up, so we've actually had a couple requests. Funny enough, Brady, Nick, a few of the other guys that are following the pod that have reached out lately have said, "Can you incorporate some hocky chatter in there?" Yeah, a couple people. So I like it. It's really good. But so if coaches like have players that they want to bring into the app, how do they go about doing that if they're a coach?
Yeah, so that's another part of the power of the coach link. The coach link, if it recognizes if a player hasn't downloaded the app yet, it will ask the person to download the app, and then that connection becomes the one-to-one relationship between coach and player that they then become connected to that coach once they're done. Or a coach, plenty of times coaches is like, well, I'm in a session, like I'm finishing, like I'm in like the last 5 minutes of the 60-minute session. Like I want to start to close out. Like I want to be able to add a player while he's standing there in front of me. So like you can do it manually. You can add their name, and then you add like either their cell phone or their email. They get an invite to complete their profile. They're connected to the coach. Or the third way is coach connects their phone book in their iPhone, brings in all the information that's already attached to a contact record, good to go. That player then gets the invite. They add their profile picture, and we're done.
Bryce, you might well, and Jason, you too, you might not have any idea what I'm about to say here, but this is like this feels like the MySpace for golf coaches, man. This is like the first ever, like,
I was gonna say Reddit, but
social
yeah.
media platform for golf coaches that seems like you just got to figure it out. It's just the coach can go on, they can add their players, they can do a virtual lesson, they can do an in-person lesson, they can take a video, they can cut the video, edit the video, give any of the thoughts back to the player. They can capture the payment. Multiple ways to capture the payment. Like you can pay however you want. Yep. This is perfect.
Yeah, even just to add on to that, Mac, also just on the coach's side, like Jason, you said earlier, scrolling through text messages or trying to pick which person I had that hour, this hour. And I assume it's right in the app where you could probably pick all your students and pull up all your videos and chats you had with them. And it's just as easy as that. So just the organization sounds incredible.
Do we have anything new that you guys are working on? We always like to be the first to release new information out to the world, but
they call us the OTS Insiders.
Yeah, the OTS Insiders. Is there anything new that you guys are working on in the app that'll be coming out in the next little while for the start of the golf season up here for us? But
yeah, so the swing analysis tool is going to be released here in hopefully 24 hours. That is the biggest release that we've had since putting it in the App Store to begin with. What I think is probably fun to talk about right now is like, well, what do we think is going to happen next? Like, what is the next iteration? What is the next addition that will be valuable to coaches? A lot of this comes down to like what's going to be most valuable to coaches. It could mean that like we create an entire automated outreach on their behalf. So part of what coaches struggle with is like keeping up with the players they haven't seen in 3 or 6 months. And the reason for that is because most of the time these coaches are just grinding like one day after the next and they just kind of forget, and that's just natural. It's okay, it happens. But there is a fairly simple way for us in the platform, given what we've built already, to be able to say, like, if a coach hasn't seen a player in X amount of weeks or X amount of months, the platform will send them like a really nice, soft notification saying, hey, your coach hasn't heard from you in a while. Or like we could say something on behalf of the coach, like, hey, how's the game going? Like that could open up an entire like cornucopia of conversation.
Right.
So like that, like follow up to help like drum up business for coaches, because it's always easier to go back to your past players than to find a net new one. And then another one we're thinking about too, which is probably really close, is like building a robust group package / like multi-person sessions. That way they can be done virtually or in person. Those are probably two like really near term ones that are really close to the iron.
I feel like too, there's going to be that prompt is going to pop up at the right time for a lot of golfers. You're going to have, just put a couple snowmans on the card or something. Something's going to have, something's going to have gone. The wheels are going to have fallen off in that round. And then all of a sudden it's going to say like, I haven't heard from you back in a little while. How's the golf game? And I'm going to click the coach's link.
Just scorecard with 4 8s, 3 putts.
Yeah. Good luck. Fix this. I got one more question for Jason, and then we can do some hockey talk for sure. Absolutely. So the team, how's the team looking right now? Is this like a solo mission that you're on? You got anybody else working with you in the team? I know you got app developers and stuff like that. How does can you give us a little behind the scenes?
Yeah, for sure. So I am I'm doing it like, I guess how I put this, like I'm the single driving like daily force.
Okay.
My buddy Nick, who I grew up with by day, he's a product manager. I played tons of sports with him when we were much younger. And so he's an advisor. He helps with very specific product related stuff. He helps with product direction. He's very good at asking like the question of like, well, is there another way? Or like, should we do it this way? Or like, is that the right way? Or like, what about this? So like he's been a really good sounding board from an advisory perspective, but by no means do I think of him or ask of him to have like 5 to 10 hours a week on this. He's got his own stuff to kind of run down. But the development firm 3 Advance, they've been a great partner. And like when we need stuff built, like I come to them with the scope. We talk through what needs to be written and developed, and then we kind of let them do their thing. And kind of outside of that, that's it. I mean, I'm one on the social, so anybody interacts with Istruzi on Insta, that's me behind the scenes if I don't introduce myself already. And that's kind of it. I'm trying to keep it in specific small places because like you can only do so much.
For sure, for sure. And again, so anybody kind of checking it out at this point, the Instagram link is below. So if you want to go kind of check it out, if you're a player or a coach, might as well go download it, kind of check it out, check out the app, go through it a little bit. Like you said, it's on the iOS platform. So that's just in the show notes below. You can go through and yeah, just check it out. See if it's something for you. See if it might be something for your coach, or if you are a coach, definitely check it out. If you have any questions, reach out directly through to Jason, because you're going to get them if you get him on Instagram. So give them a follow as well.
I'll be there.
Yeah. All right. So playoffs start tonight. So Bryce, you got the game on right now?
Yeah, I got the Boston-Florida game on. I'd love to see Florida win this series. I don't think they will because Boston's an absolute wagon. But
yeah,
I'd like to see Boston lose first round, but we'll see. But I just wanted to say before we get into this, I know Mac mentioned the names of the people giving feedback, but that's awesome. We love hearing that, and we'll give you guys whatever you want, the listeners. So keep the feedback coming.
Yeah, it's definitely it's cool to kind of hear a few people mention the hockey talk and stuff, because we went 4 or 5 weeks in a row, Jason, where we were like opening up the conversation with too much like good hockey talk, so we just we just leave it in there, and then people just kind of come back for it. Plus,
and that's
might get picked up on a couple
Canadian
different
people grew up playing hockey anyways, and
right,
yeah.
Life, so. Like, how could there be too much good hockey talk? I don't think I comprehend that.
Well, it's like, you know, golf's kind of like it's synonymous with a lot of people with golf and the, you know, up here especially golf in the summer, hockey in the winter, and then whereabouts are you from, Jason?
So I grew up in outside Philly, which is a huge hockey market.
Yeah, there we go.
The North America side of things.
Yeah.
Played roller hockey. Played in my street, played in my driveway, breaking garage doors, all the usual stuff. Then got into ice hockey, and I mean I miss hockey. All the sports that I got to enjoy when I was younger, I definitely miss playing hockey the most, for sure.
Are you still in Philly?
Yeah, my fiance and we moved down to Charleston, South Carolina, about 10 months ago.
So you're a Hurricanes fan, or are you a Philly fan still?
Dude, you don't leave your fandom when you come from the Philly area.
I feel like Philly's
I
like
knew that, but
Philly's if you're
in a tough spot right
if
now.
you're a Philly fan, it is a tough spot, but I don't know. There's some players there, man. Like there's definitely some players.
Yeah, Trav, dude, connecting is so good.
Yeah, so good, so good. Carter Hart's good, man. He's it's been a tough year, but he's had some good signs. I know I like picked him up for a spot start, and I think he had a shutout too. It was like finally shutout of the year, man. I've talked about how bad my goalies were this year, but it's I think if you're a Philly fan, you're a Philly fan for life, right? Like
big time. Yeah, for sure.
It's like being a Boston fan, is it not? Like there's
well, it's like being a Leafs fan, as hard as it is. I mean, most Leafs fans are diehards, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of Leafs fans are off this wagon now, man.
I'm jumping on them. I'm always on them. They never can find it. All the teams find a way to win, and the Leafs find a way to lose. But I'm on them. They'll find it this year.
There's a lot of Leafs on edge. They'll find it this year. I'm gonna clip that part, and who knows? Maybe it'll be, and it'll be Bryce kind of talking it into fruition for the boys.
If they gave me a contract, it would have looked a little better, but it's all right.
Yeah, I don't.
Politics, right, Mac?
Yeah, that's right. So who you got going through? who you got going through, Jason? You got any? Are you keeping up with it? Are you watching any of it right now?
Yeah, I mean, my fiance, she's a huge Rangers fan, so you can imagine how interesting our household gets when hockey matters. So it's been fun. I mean, I'll definitely pull for the Rangers. I will definitely not root for them, but like if they do well, you know, like good for them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think the Canes, like the way hockey tends to work, in my opinion, is like young teams earn their stripes by making the playoffs, then going deep a couple of years, and they learn a lot of really hard lessons you can't learn any other way. This isn't like another sport. Like you have to earn your way to the Stanley Cup in hockey. They're in this I think they're in this prime spot. Like the players are phenomenal. Rod Brindamore pushes all the right fucking buttons.
Oh yeah.
And they've had enough time in the playoffs. I think this could be the year.
I don't disagree with you, but I also think they will contend for the next 3 or 5 years because their core group is almost all the same age. They're around my age, 25, 26. and they just have a bunch of young studs who are getting, like you said, kind of getting their time in and doing and becoming veterans and learning how to play playoff hockey. And
Hmm.
it's a whole new animal, playoff hockey. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brycer,
Yeah.
did you play with Stefan Nosen? Were you there when he was?
He was the year before me.
Okay.
So when I went to camp as a rookie, we had a bunch of NHLers there. We had Stefan Nason, we had Tom Wilson, Vincent Trocheck, Ryan Hartman. These are all full-time NHL guys, and
Yeah.
and it's especially me going in at 16 young. I was 6'1", 147 pounds. But like going to the corner with Tom Wilson, it's just like eye-opening. It's just insane. And then you don't realize how good these guys are because every single guy on the ice is that good. Like it's just insane.
Yeah, I saw he just scored too, which is Burnsy's got a couple assists too. So I don't know, man. I think right now, like New York Islanders, they got Sorokin. They don't have much else, right? So if
I don't love the Islanders, but they got Anders Lee and they got Brock Nelson. They just picked up Horvat at the deadline. They got Barzal. They got a few good guys that they can make a run, but we'll see. Playoff hockey's so different. Like you never know. It's you never know. So.
I think Canes are built well.
I agree, Bryce, but like, can't we agree that like the Cup's coming out of the East? Like the East is like so much better than the West.
So good. I don't know, man.
Is stacked.
I hate to say it, but Edmonton's been the best team in the last 40. So. Like that's.
Edmonton and Colorado will still give it a shot. I think it's going to be one of those two teams in the final, but
like I know Edmonton's like
we'll
dicey.
see.
We've had some of our friends like are out like at Go Track when we've talked with those guys like Garrett.
Yeah, they're big Edmonton.
Like Cody, they're out in Edmonton and like I know AJ from Pioneer as well too, and like. I don't know. Their goaltending's really, really dicey.
Always
but
a question.
I don't want to be in the Stanley Cup Finals against Draisaitl and McDavid.
Nah.
I don't want to.
I don't want to be there against McKinnon and that whole squad either, especially now that they have Georgiev in net too. Like that's a scary team too.
Yeah. So I think it'll be.
Speaking of the Islanders, Taves. I still can't believe that the Islanders let Taves walk the way he did.
He's one of the best defensemen in the league, hands down, in my opinion.
Doesn't make any sense.
But
I don't know.
Just scored again, 2-0.
Is it 2-0 now? So the Leafs, how are like from somebody down in South Carolina? How's the perspective? Yeah, how's the outlook on the Leafs? Like, what are people thinking of the Toronto Maple Leafs down there?
I think Bryce put it really well. I mean, you guys just find ways to lose. It's actually kind of impressive.
Yeah.
But the thing that I always find interesting about the Leafs is like. Actually, I recognize this because the Philadelphia Eagle fandoms are the fans are the exact same way. Like every single year, Philadelphia Eagles think we have a team that's going to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. It's obviously only happened once since I've been watching. But like every year, sports talk radio, like we're like, yeah, this is the year the team's around. Like we got all the pieces, every element's here. We got a young core. We got the good vets. Like we'll find every excuse that like the team's going to win. I kind of feel like the people talk about the Leafs the same way.
Yeah, but as an outlooker, like especially this year in particular, do you guys not think that the team is just on paper one of the best teams in the league? Or is that just
I don't.
No, just flat out no.
No, that's a serious question. Like, because I know you definitely have a great point there. Because, I mean, I've been a Leafs fan since I was born, essentially. But I've also played hockey at a high level and know how it goes and kind of understand the game really well. But I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck in that wave too. But I just think on paper the Leafs just look so good. But I don't know, not as good as Boston.
No, definitely not as good as Boston. I think that there's, when you really do like a breakdown, even against like Tampa and stuff, it's gonna probably be a 7-game series, right? Like Tampa's. I saw this. I said this a couple weeks ago. We were talking with Bob Winskowitz of Squares Golf, and he's a huge Boston fan. And Tampa's played 72 extra games, 72 more games than any other team. I think the other team is Colorado or something like that, probably. But than any other team in the last 3 seasons, I think it was. That's a whole
72?
72 more games.
Because of all the playoff games.
Oh, my God.
So you feel like they got to wear out eventually, but, Game 6 last year, Leafs up 3-2, 10 minutes ago. Or wait, that was actually Game 7.
Perry? It's tragic.
It's just like, I don't know. They do find a way to lose. So I'm supposed to go watch the game with some buddies tomorrow night, but I might just edit this pod. Sorry, guys. I think I'm
Your
busy.
mental health.
Yeah, I might
Have
just
you
edit
guys
this
heard
pod.
that stat on Corey Perry?
No. Let's
What
hear
is it? I'm interested.
So sad, man. I feel so bad for the guy. Goes to Dallas, goes to the final, they lose in the final. Goes to Montreal the next year, goes to the final, lose in the final. Go to Tampa the next year, goes to the final, loses in the final. 3 years in a row on 3 different teams, 3 losses in the final. Only guy ever in the NHL to do that.
Oh my God.
And that will never be done again, I don't think.
No way. And then Patty Maroon's just like
3 in a row.
just
The
like,
other end. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh man, that's so good.
So where's Perry now? Is he still
He's
on
still
the,
in
on the Bulls?
Tampa. He's still in
Okay,
Tampa.
all right,
So
all
there's still a shot, but
There's
we'll
still a
see.
shot to be the fourth, to lose 4 in a row. You never know.
Exactly.
You never know. I was watching this I don't know, this stupid Instagram reel or something where this corgi was hitting a ball down into baskets or something like that, and it had
Oh yeah, they
that-
do that for everything. They do that
yeah.
for NBA. They do
it
that
had
for
Boston going out in
NHL.
the first round. So I
Yeah, I know.
definitely don't think so. But
The one year he did that, they went 8 for 8 or something in a row on his picks. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
it'd be crazy, man. I just don't think the Boston one will go through. I think Florida's just I don't know, man. They got Bob though. They got Bob. You never know.
He's not even playing tonight.
Spencer Knight, yeah.
No, Lion. They're the kid they
Oh,
called
yeah, that's
up.
right. That's right. I forgot.
Oh,
about
he's
that.
an old flyer.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. they
He's
got him
actually
starting.
been playing pretty well.
He's solid.
honestly, the past
He
few
played
games.
well at the end of the year. He really did.
Yeah.
But
We went and saw them at play Detroit towards the end of the season at Little Caesars there, and he looked good.
Oh,
yeah,
I
it's-
heard Little Caesars Arena is amazing.
Oh.
What did you guys think?
yeah, we were
Great.
talking
I'm-
about this last week. Yeah.
I live in Michigan now, just outside of Detroit. So I went to 2 games actually this year. We went and saw Dallas play the last game of the season, but it's sweet. It's just a show in there. They got the whole roof of the building is all a big light show, and it's the concourse is amazing. It's sweet.
Have you
I
been
actually
there?
went to the
Yeah, I heard the concourse is
It's
it's
like a mall.
cityscape.
yeah
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
crazy. I actually went to the first ever event there. It was Kid Rock. He did a concert there, first grand opening of it, and it was
Oh, he
cool.
fucking probably killed it.
Yeah.
Oh, he loved it. Yeah, it was,
It's like
Uncle Cracker came out. It was a good show.
I've only been there the one time. It's for Bryce's brother was playing in the rookie camp or whatever it was there. But it's like a video game. It's
It's cool.
like being in an actual video game, looking up at that ceiling. It was really cool.
And they
Really,
brought all
really
the
nice room.
history and stuff
That's
from Joe
amazing.
Louis, all the memorabilia and stuff over, so that's all still there. But I know a lot of people are sad to see Joe Louis go, but this new arena is sweet.
Yeah, and it's really, really good for the people of Detroit and stuff too, right?
Yeah,
I
that
remember
whole
them saying
area
that,
right there, they have Little
1,100
Caesars
jobs or
America.
something just in that
Yeah.
rink or something like that.
Yeah,
or-
they have Little
Oh, that's
Caesars
great.
America
Yeah.
and Ford Field all in that little block, and you wouldn't even think it's Detroit if you were down in that area.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, Jason. But we got to run. Maybe go watch a little bit of this hockey yourself. So we'll
Absolutely.
yeah, I'll put an edit in on this because I got absolutely nothing to do on Tuesday night now. So this will be going out for Friday. But yeah, if you guys are sticking with us at this point, definitely go down in the show notes below. Give them a follow. If you got any questions about Istruzi, go ahead and just send him a message, and this will be the guy that you'll get. And yeah, it'll be cool. It'll hopefully, if you're a player or a coach, you should check it out and have a deep look at it, because I think this is I think it's finally something that's here. When you and I got talking about it, it was really, really fascinating. And I haven't done a ton of virtual or in-person lessons. I've done some in-person lessons, but to be able to have this platform to just be able to connect with this sounds perfect for coaches. I think it's something that most clubs will be interested with their pros getting something like this involved and just kind of streamlining everything completely, right?
Well, thank you, Mac. I appreciate this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me on, and Bryce, it was great to meet you too. And
Yeah, you too.
I'm looking forward to maybe we do a run back sometime. But
Absolutely.
I really appreciate the first time for this. It was a lot of fun, fellas.
He's out in my ball in the course, so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.